Alright, hello everybody and welcome to the third game of our first King of the Hill of 2018. We have at the moment a familiar name to all of you, one of the best Company of Heroes 2 players that has come out on the scene, who has just wiped Nagano out of the game with an incredible composition. It is Vonasten playing as USF on the north side of Faymanville.
USF, the very faction he brought out to beat Helping Hands in the Grand Championship Series semi-final, and he brought them out of nowhere. He'd been practicing against Theodosios in private, and it was a masterstroke to suddenly unleash it in a tournament setting. His opponent, though, is a damn fine player, an emerging talent that has blossomed throughout 2017 and is now definitely a stalwart of the competitive scene. Now we find ourselves in this new year. He's done a very good job of cementing himself in recent tournaments, and actually may have recently been the very same Vonasten in auto match, so he's definitely very confident at the moment, and that man, as OKW, is Vonasten.
I think Vonasten's always been a great player. I normally see Vonasten in the 2v2 scene, so to be honest, I don't have a great deal of kind of background knowledge of what he's going to be playing today, because I normally just see that kind of 2v2 side of him, unfortunately, because I always get wrecked.
Him and Crossfire will have wrecked you many a time. They're very good. And him and JP Hooligan, it must be said. Vonasten has always mostly been a 2v2 guy, but he's definitely cementing himself as a 1v1 more recently. Interestingly, Vonasten was actually saying in Balance forums that he believes OKW are really underpowered in the new patch. Then he made a call for players to play the new patch more. And he said, to be honest, after the Romeo tournament, my opinion has completely flipped. And I now think OKW are actually powerful if you play them right. And he then implored players to play more and before they base their decisions. So that was really interesting of him, very mature thing to say.
Well, my recollection of OKW in this patch was that they actually survived better with a kind of support composition. It's less about just having the Volksgrenadiers running everywhere. Like they do thrive with Raketten, MG, ISG even. It seems to be working a lot better. But a lot of people forget about OKW is the fact that it is the stealth faction of the game, really. You have infrared, you've got tanks that can mysteriously cloak with futuristic alien ghosting devices. You've got like all of these really cool tricks. You've got commanders that can completely deny radio communications through to players, and so few people use OKW in a way that
full extent,
to the extent which is that you can completely sabotage your opponent with stealth and disruption, and that is really like the powerhouse of the faction. Few people
it can be, or it's increasingly becoming that way, and it is very good that OKW as a faction of specialists is now becoming a specialist in the right way, and the balance is finally, after 4 years, finally kicked in very well for this faction, and they're much more fleshed out than, for example, Panzer Elite and Company Heroes 1 ended up being. In my opinion, OKW are a little bit beefier. So with that said, let's focus on the actual engagements we're seeing in front of our eyes. We've had a very fluid dynamic at the moment, with the Riflemen of Vonasten just about eking out and pushing their heads above the parapet right now and doing a good job of it.
Yep, they're of course being flanked by more riflemen from the west, and this is not a good engagement for Vonasten. It's actually got to retreat a long way around. There will be negative cover as well to cross, so maybe use a final model.
Did you see all 7 of those Volksgrenadiers all turned pirouetted on the spot in like 180 degrees? They were trying to track that retreating rifleman. It just looked very silly for a moment there. And that's one thing. Go on, what were you going to say?
Wow, I didn't actually make a noise then, and you still knew I was prepared to say something.
No, you did. You don't even realise it. You clearing your lungs about to say something makes like a distinctive like.
I am impressed that I didn't realise you were employing that level of co-casting.
No, how long have we been since? Hang on, October the 31st, 2015. I only remember it because we did a Halloween Cup together. It's very easy to remember when we did our first cast. It's a long ass time.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Anyway, M20 on the field, usually utilised, I must say, against Wehrmacht. So interesting that Vonasten has gone for them against the Panzerfaust toting. Well, of course, Wehrmacht has them as well, but they've gone for them regardless. Stone Pioneer in a different territory.
This is really good. There's no threat of the Volksgrenadiers further to this. He's able to engage them, but what he's done is gained valuable intel over Vonasten. He can tell now from that Faust that there has been a building tech already, which has allowed them to Faust. So he now has a little bit of intel that something's gone up. Now, Lovenest can either think, right, maybe it's mechanized has gone up and we're going to see something like a Luke's, or maybe he'll know it's the battle grouper. Of course, Vonasten.
Nice grenade there. That was a good turnabout in play, but the rifleman tagging in there just about won out and forced away 2 squads. So Lovenest will be emerging back onto the battlefield.
Yeah, he's starting to find his footing a bit. One thing that we're going to see, though, is that Lovenest doesn't have healing. Vonasten, I think, will be... he could get it. No, he's more focused on the half-track. I mean, he has access to get healing very quickly, and, you know, that player that does have healing does enjoy a bit of a sizable advantage going into engagements across the field.
It really does, and that half track is the big meta shift for OKW. I mean, the Lukes is still being used, but I think it was a masterstroke in balancing just to make the Lukes a little bit less attractive, a slight far accuracy nerf, I believe, or something like that, and of course the 85 seconds, and the half track a little bit more attractive, and it's just enough to shift the meta. I really am quite happy with that, and the half track is seeing heavy usage in the recent games I've seen.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad, to be honest, because the whole mobile turret kind of system, the amount of suppression it deals, and keeping a faction like USF with so much infantry, the fact that it's now viable, I love it. I absolutely love it. This is great, because look how aggressive he's being as well. He's going to park it in a position where it's got great coverage of open areas. He's got the Volksgrenadiers to defend. They're taking green cover positions too. And he's going to be able to push the strategic decap, and if he caps this, he can stop Lovenest from getting access to his fuel, I think, as long as he isn't connected by the center. Yeah, he's not, so actually doing this with the half-track there puts great pressure on Lovenest. He has to recap this to get access to all of his resources on the left-hand side, and
it's a great move. And look at this rifleman, Dan! This rifleman is a very, very soon-to-be-dead rifleman. There we go. It was actually the Volksgrenadiers that got the kill in unison there. Car 98's firing together. Beautiful to see. And what a great position Vonasten finds himself in. New blood coming onto the scene, Dan. It's very pleasurable to see that. You're laughing. Did you think it sounded weird, the new blood coming onto the scene? I don't know.
Yes.
What you chuckled at?
Yes, that was what it was.
What are you trying to imply? That sounds like you're laughing at me constantly.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A lot of people think that I'm laughing at them constantly. I never really am. I just enjoy life and just chuckling.
Oh, that's such BS. That's such BS. I like that. It's like a HR meeting. A lot of your employees, your co-workers, are saying that you're condescending and you keep laughing at them. Oh no, that's my zest for life. I just laugh a lot. Bullshit. Sorry, I know you don't like me swearing. Still, anyway, we've got Airborne on the field. They have been pushed away once. This is a squad that I know you're a big fan of, Dan, and a lot of people just love the Airborne. They're so badass, aren't they?
They are, yeah. And actually, Recon is... I pit Recon as the best commander for USF at the moment, because it's cheaper to get, you know, AT and paratroopers, which they have the ability to get double M19s. I think that's an incredible investment for what is it, munitions? 325 man-power 80 munitions. I would easily spend that, and I've enjoyed spending that when I played USF. It is so strong to get that, and it means you can go lieutenant and still, you know what I mean?
Rifleman doing in the east there, it's gone all the way around the rear, and it's now fighting out on Volksgrenadiers. This is a no-cover battle, it loses out. Also, the flak half track's been pushed away by the combination of the M20. The MG34 is now firing on the retreating rifleman. What a great passage of aggression. Now, big shot goes in from the M1, though. The half track pops smoke, attacks ground, maybe. Can't quite do it, and the half track survives.
It was good play there, actually. Vonasten, even after retreating from the AT gun's first shot, didn't do a full retreat. He retreated to a calculated end of the arc, where he could continue to suppress and eventually get the retreat on the paratroopers, which I think is a brilliant play. And Vonasten's doing very, very well in this game so far. Is he going to do well against the Greyhound, though, which I've seen have some pretty incredible moments? 2014-esque moments.
Got the M20 and the M8 out now, and yeah, it is the unit of 20.
Was it 2018?
Well, yeah, it was 2014 when it first came out with a canister shot, aka the nuke button. This tiny armoured car comes out with the ability to destroy 5 squads at once. But, oh god, we might be seeing that right now, by the way. This first grenade could be very dead very shortly. That is the... there we go. No such luck, never mind, but it's got a few good shots on.
I'm glad it wasn't, because I really struggled to click that unit.
Alright, good. Good. That would have been one of those.
Yeah, Flak Half-Track is doing pretty good work here. One thing that he needs to get on top of is this AT gun, which actually isn't really that defended in any sense. It's going up the center of the map pretty much alone, and if it can be spotted by Vonasten, he might get a chance where he can decap it.
That's such great play by Lovenest. Look at the strength of Lovenest. That's amazing. He used the M20 to spot there for the M1 half-track whilst capping. It's just, I love it.
Yeah, this Vonasten just lost Stern Pioneers on the fuel. Oh, Raketten could get a good shot here. The barrel of the gun does not track quick enough. Yeah, Vonasten's going to retreat instead of trying to turn. He could have got a Faust, I think, to be honest. If he hadn't retreated that, he might have been successful.
Oh, he doesn't have the munitions currently. He's only got 10. There we go. We finally... something going on there. M8's just causing such pressure. Could get the wipe here on the MG, Dan. One more shot required. Negative cover. Oh, didn't stick it out. He was scared, was he?
It's a difficult spot for Vonasten because he's going to try and set up tier 4 now. And I think he probably wanted to do that under better conditions. There's no chance of that Greyhound pushing, so tier 4 in the field going to help him keep his fuel resource, help stop those paratroopers pushing up to the decap point, which I do like. But Lovenest, as we've seen, is playing very well with the AT gun. Now, if he puts all of his infantry up the field, the range of the AT gun can safely take down tier 4. And of course, any infantry trying to defend in this area has a lot of negative cover to play in, so as much as I like this as a position for tier 4, I also think it is a risky tier 4 position for reasons of defense. I think it would be very difficult to defend that sometimes against USF.
You think? Yeah. Possibly. I mean, Lovenest would have to make an overwhelming effort to get there, I guess, but I suppose it's always a little bit risky. It's a slightly more defended territory than I've sometimes seen it. But Dan, I've got to bring everybody's attention to something about Vonasten's play that's really making me admire how he's improved quite a lot, and his gunfight positioning is very good. He's getting in behind cover and waiting for his opponent in places he expects his opponent to push out on. Schwer, by the way, causing all kinds of problems there for the M20. Pop smoke. And he's going to survive, seemingly. He's going to get the...
he's going to cap as well.
Nice. That's a very aggressive. Very aggressive. And of course, you cannot see anymore because the point is now neutral, so the Schwer can't get its shots off. That's master level play. And this is the best episode of King of the Hill yet, surely. I mean, we've only 3 games in there, but this is like quality, isn't it?
The games have been very, very good today, and just not to put a dampener on anything that's happened the last year, but there's actual strategies and...
Oh no, those first 3 episodes were garbage. I'm joking. There were some of the games that weren't very good, let's face it, but the 3 games today have been all killer, no filler. Really good, and everybody on... I mean, just I really want to keep pushing for Vonasten. I think he's improved so much.
I just think there's a lot more depth in the play. Like it's better now that we're not seeing like demo charges and all this kind of thing that in squad lives. There's like more sustainability for all the units that are being brought on. There's more stories to tell.
What a grenade!
Yeah,
great grenade on retreat there. Might be getting this Foch grenadier as well. Oh, nice from the Raketten Von Cloak. M8's going to have to get out of there, but survives again.
I think Vonasten is playing really, really well against Lovenest. He actually messaged me before we started today and said, "Look, I want to play. I feel really, really good about my 1v1 game at the moment. You know, he said, I'm feeling it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he can be a bit whiny at times. I got that a lot during GCS because
this was good. I was like,
I like that. I like the guy. I must admit, he's grown on me a lot as a person as well. Because he's very, very kind of comes across a little bit, you know, please let me play, blah blah blah. But then it's because he's been practicing so much. He was scrimming with Nagano and Jove in the build-up to GCS so hard. And the fact that he nearly didn't make it into the tournament due to placements was really brutal for him. And then the fact that he had, bug splat situations and such, and it was really hard on him. So just to see him getting these opportunities now is quite good. It's good to see that.
Yeah. Well, we do have the commander choices that are locked in now. So obviously Recon going to be fighting up against, I've forgotten the name now, Fortifications Doctrine. Now, interestingly, this is one of those maps. I'll be very, very amused if we get to see it, and I think it'll be fantastic. Faymonville Approach is a map that is kind of small in its height, right? So artillery is, it's easily reaching into the other person's base or just outside, and because of that, because it's a short distance, it's a little more accurate.
What that attack round from the Rocket nearly caught the M8 there. That was wonderful, really was. If it just about caught it, that would have been an excellent death. Got the Schwer Light, the flak half track doing great work just north of its bigger brother. Stern Pioneers acting from a position of cover against the rifleman, but they know their time is up. They've got to retreat back to base. And Vonasten's got an excellent pocket of resistance. And this commander he has chosen, Fortifications Doctrine, is such a storied one in tournament history. We've seen it really help players, bully bigger players, and famously, it was actually Vonasten's occasional 2v2 partner, GB Hooligan, that made it really famous in 2017 for that reason.
Well, there's a pretty big engagement going on now with the flak half-track. There was Faust delivered. Who's the stronger in this, though? The Greyhound should win it. We don't have smoke pop from Vonasten. Where is the smoke?
Oh, the Vet 3 M8 takes out the flak. Was it worth it? Oh my god, he's now polishing off Foch Grenadiers. We have a Faust on recharge. He now needs the munitions. He's only got 15. He's not going to be able to get the kill. We also can't have the incendiary. No, we can have the incendiaries now. He might pop incendiary. There you go.
No, he's got an MG. He's got an MG on the retreat that's going to be able to get it.
With the incendiary from the MG on retreat. He had a decision. Would he use the one in the garrison or the one just north of there? Vonasten made the right decision and made up for his flak lossage. Very cool play.
Yeah, he didn't have an option with the other MG because only one is veterancy. So only one of them had the incendiary rounds ability. I didn't see if it was already there or whether he brought it up, but either way, he managed that situation very, very well. He's coming up to that point now where he's probably going to be bringing his first tank onto the field.
What a desperate situation to be in regardless. He needed 15 munitions. He was waiting. So cool. Airborne, by the way, in a difficult predicament. Sturmgewehr's lining up to assassinate them. Oh, could get the job done. Vet 2 Airborne could die here, Dan. Oh, what a loss.
Well, that is a big loss for Lovenest because it kind of brings him down to only 3 squads of infantry that can kind of compete and be mobile on the field. Not counting the rear echelon. But if you look at Vonasten, 4 Volksgrenadiers, double MGs for the lockdown. He's got the Stern Pioneers running around too. And it's a very, very strong game for him. And whilst there's, only a light vehicle on the field, currently being repaired, Vonasten has a huge advantage situation.
He really does. Look, is still being aggressive though. He's currently flanking the Raketenwerfer, staying in with a rear echelon. Way too long. And Vonasten, Dan, he's got a fire up him right now. The fire is burning, and that is the passion of wanting to prove himself on a big stage against the best player in the world. And he's doing that, Dan. He's got a very, very strong army at the moment.
I feel like Lovenest is struggling. You said this to me, I think yesterday, possibly. That you were really impressed during Romeo's Starcross Cup at the kind of that newcomers were coming in,
yes,
like new people kind of getting into that top level play that we haven't seen before, and I'm starting to see it because we just wouldn't see Vonasten playing competitively like this in previous patches. So this is a huge step up.
And this is a
in-game
massive, it's a massive vote of confidence for the project we're currently working on that we will be announcing in March, but people can pretty much guess, but we won't ruin that. No, I don't mind, because people need to know that this is heading somewhere. This huge upheave in amazing competitive activity in auto match and great tournaments such as Romeo's recently and King of the Hill right now. You know, it's such a great time to be a co-player, and if you're watching this in chat and you're a mid-level player, it's such an amazing time to go out there and really start solidifying yourself.
This grenade from
solidifying yourself into bits all over the battlefield as you sit on a pineapple for way too long, and that pineapple explodes.
We need to stop being nice to Vonasten, because we have the caster's curse that we have to cast responsibly, because if we say a player is doing well, they will do badly. We need to, you know.
You're completely right there. We do curse players, and that nuclear pineapple, as we'll call it. Oh god, that was horrific, and made his squad into a fruit salad. As look at them crawling various directions, falling various human centipedes now.
AT gun making a mistake here. And also, we saw the MG was lost. And it looks like Vonasten's trying to recruit it. Maybe not a sensible idea now with the M20 there. That's Panzer IV tearing up the center of the field. Needs to be providing support. He's going to be up against the Sherman.
Oh, Major is lost by Vonasten. He's now onto it. However, he has lost the opportunity. He's going to keep gunning for it. They could be killing the Major. There you go. Another squad wipe, making up for the Nuclear Pineapple 2018. And yeah, it's very, very good.
This is Vonasten's game to lose. Absolutely. He is in such a power position right now over Lovenest. You know, he's just got everything that he needs. The one thing I am maybe concerned about is the Jackson, to be honest. I always say this. I just think the Jackson's very, very good. The Sherman's going to be good against the infantry now. We've still got the harassment for the M20. Any of the games I saw in this patch just seem to be defined by the Jackson, because it just keeps armor so off the field and allows USF to get its anti-infantry vehicles, you know, at kind of full efficiency. That's the only scary thing for me.
Just to draw everybody's attention. Sorry, I thought you had finished and I was wrong. Yeah, just to draw everybody's attention to something cool that Vonasten just did on his concrete wall on the south side. He crushed it with the Panzer. He's taken the opportunity now to terraform the map, make it more open on his side, and he's continuing to do that, by the way, just to allow his Raketenwerfer and 2 MG34s better operational ability. But that might not matter now. Lovenest is preparing for an assault. And what do your eyes see, Dan?
Well, I do see the Sherman, a little bit of spotting there for the AT gun. And the Volksgrenadiers very, very good dodging of a grenade from Lovenest. Lovenest has been really, really sneaky with those grenades. It was kind of like a later tech, so Vonasten had, you know, he had the surprise over Vonasten using them. Got a squad wipe, which is fantastic. And have already kind of, in a way, paid for themselves in that respect, just from getting that. But Lovenest very correctly taking his entire army to the center of the map to get that strategic decap outside the base and just removing that resource advantage that Vonasten had built. So a very good strategic play from Lovenest. He's still very much in the game, definitely in the game in VPs.
Look at that mindfulness, by the way. Lovenest popping the 50 cal out at the last possible moment, timing it to perfection just to draw the fire of the tanks before the building crumbled. Great play by him. And as you say, this is very much almost a checkmate kind of position, or at least on chess terms it's a pin, because he's gotten right up in there and he's got you know, he's done something strategic that you weren't expecting him to do, and it's worked. He's got these 3 support weapons acting in unison with the Sherman 76mm, and it's all working together beautifully. And Vonasten's now got to ask himself some serious questions. Oh god, and what's that we can see?
Well, we can see him nearly giving Lovenest an ISG to help him with his advancements, which I think was a kind of a spawn point, unfortunately. But
what I can see is something a little bit more foreboding. Is the Jackson, Dan?
Oh, yes.
And that was the thing that was you had alluded to earlier, and it is going to cause serious problems for Vonasten. And all of a sudden, from nothing, Lovenest seems in power.
Well, this is what happened in the last game. Like, Love Nest is a creature of good composition. You know, he will take his time to create something that is very effective on the field. Now, the Jackson is going to be absolute hell for that Panzer IV, and there's only one Raketen. Oh, sorry, there's two Raketens on the field now, so actually it's not so bad. But I mean, it's going to cause chaos for the Panzer IV. That unit is not going to be able to push infantry away as effectively, and that means things like the Sherman, which is, you know, going to be heavily relied on to clear infantry. It's going to have a much better time now dealing with this.
Was Vonasten preparing for the Pack 43 by crushing all that territory and trying to make the map as open as possible? I mean, we know it can fire through buildings, but it's just obviously anything with a projectile is aided by having a big open space. Is he preparing for that? Is that what he's going to go for?
I don't know. My initial hunch is that we might see him be cheeky and use something like the artillery to just base bombard constantly. I mean, Pack 43, I don't know how these cluster bombs work against the Pack 43.
Oh, look at that in the north there. The M20 pops smoke and is now trying to go all around the mansion house. Meanwhile, the Panzer's furious with things and is looking for him. Now the M20's going around the other side, sees a huge tank in his way and thinks, nope.
Oh, this is really dangerous though, because the Jackson has now caught the Panzer IV off guard. Will Love Nest chase, or is he comfortable just plying away at the Panzer IV to get some veterancy?
And the M20 comes out just to say one last parting, ha! I've got a big brother, and that big brother's bigger than you. And the Jackson watching over there.
You know, at Monty Python, where they're trying to, like, they got the French guy who's in the castle. You know, John
mother
Cleese.
with a hamster and
You
your
English
father
pigs. that's kind of how I see it.
Definitely. That's pretty much the M20. Yeah.
Oh, nice grenade there as soon as the MG sets up. Going to do some health damage, but not wipe any models, so the MG is going to be comfortable to stay there. These Raketens need to be aggressive. They need to be threatening Love Nest so that he's not comfortable leaving his tanks up the field. They're currently not doing that at the moment. They're taking up defensive positions. It's the whole benefit of the Raketen is that you can walk up and then push the tank away, like, preemptively rather than letting it come to you. So yeah, let's have a look at the moment, because Jackson hasn't really found the position of effectiveness yet, just kind of hanging around. We do have M20s causing constant havoc on that side.
They really are, and look, Love Nest is further complementing his build right now with an excellent decision. Currently seeking to get the howitzer motor carriage, otherwise known as the Scott, out to give him the indirect fire options.
Look at this M20.
Waiting for the Faust. We've got.
He's trying to wait for it to recharge.
Now available, it's recharged. Faust is out of the pocket. Pocket rocket destroys the M20. Finally, also the Sherman goes out in the centre whilst that was going on. Thanks to excellent Kettenwerfer play and the Panzer IV, a double win for Vonasten.
Yeah, that is really good, and Sherman had smoked the Raketen to try and get past that. I think a ground attack was used with the aid of the Panzer IV, and that smoke actually kind of helped save the Raketen get out of there afterwards. So Love Nest tried to, I think, do the right thing, but ended up helping his opponent get out. And suddenly that composition we saw, you know, with the Scott coming in, yep,
he's changed the Scott for a Sherman, yeah. Dan, so it's a small Woolen activity, only brief thing going on in the centre. You have the opportunity to name the Jackson after one of the original Jackson 5 members. Tito, Jackie, Jermaine, or Marlon.
It's Jackie, sorry, it's Jackie Jackson, 100%.
Okay, there you go.
On the field. I think, do we have the option of Janet? Like, just as a family member.
Well, she was kind of watching from as a young age. You could call it Janet. It's your choice. I gave you the complete choice there.
Okay.
You're really considering this.
I know. I think I'll go for Janet.
Very good. Janet's on the field. We will no longer refer to her as her previous name. She's here.
Oh, look at that grenade! Look at that preemptive grenade, trying to stop Love Nest's rifleman from sitting in a cover position, making the move constantly, reducing the accuracy. I love it. The ISG's trying to then fire across the hedgerows. We see the Sherman hitting a mine in the west side of Faymanville. Where is the Panzer IV? It's not reacting. Panzer IV is trying to clear the right VP. And You know, Lovenest has, for everything that's happened bad to Lovenest in this game, he has actually controlled VPs very well. You know, even though he's been on the back foot for a lot of it. So
it's one of those unspoken things that top-level players do. Is you don't necessarily see it, but you can certainly feel the benefits of it. Is their superior tertiary map control, aka when big things are happening, they'll always have a sneaky shift order going around, capping the field, and it really does benefit them over the long term. Jackie repositioning. She's thinking about going north, hunting for her next victim. Oh god, that Foch grenadier in the centre. Neil fell to the full brunt of the...
Oh, check out these Rakettans. They are in a very, very good position. One of them, the arc was slightly off.
Oh,
how unfortunate.
So and they ended up blocking the Panzer IV, which does get a great shot in. And the Rakettenwerfer's follow-up, and that is one dead Sherman.
Well, I thought that was going to go badly just due to the setup not being quite there, but he did recover it very well. And Lovenest is going to be really annoyed because that's the second Sherman that he's lost because he's not supporting it with infantry. He's kind of using it out on its own, and that is a death sentence against Rakettans. They are designed as
the Jackson's rear armor showing turrets reversing. Panzer IV might decide to run off here, obviously. It is a Jackson at the end of the day. Had a big health pool increase as well, it must be said, so it's not really a situation where a Panzer IV would want to stick it out, because even against the rear army, you might actually lose that battle.
Even with the VPs, I'm still 50-50 on this. I don't like the choice of the double Panzer IV, but actually the fact that he has managed to get the Shermans down kind of does put him in a good position with two Panzer IVs. The Rakettans keep sneaking up. That Jackson's got to be very, very careful.
Well, let's be under no illusions. The Panzer IV, the OKW Panzer IV especially, is a fantastic unit. I mean, situationally in Game 1 earlier today, it wasn't exactly the... no, that's the Wehrmacht version. The OKW one's nearly always a good choice in my opinion. She's got that slight stat differentiation over the Wehrmacht one that I believe makes it a little bit more attractive.
Mm.
I don't actually know what the stats are. We need a third caster, somebody that actually knows the stats. I know what they mean, what
Where
they
is
result in.
Magpie?
Yes. Well, guys. Oh, hang on, Magpie. He was that guy that didn't know any of the stats, wasn't he? Didn't you mean Mirage Floor?
No, I think Magpie would be funnier.
Well, this very spicy Panzer IV.
Spicy Turbo, I think was his...
that was it, Turbo.
Oh, a great nade here coming in from Lovenest, trying to get the MG wipe. Reduces it to one model, but he cannot focus fire it with the other rifleman due to suppression. These Vet 5 Volksgrenadiers are really just good at going up, clearing the squads of riflemen that are kind of out on their own. They've got such good survivability now. This veterancy.
They're just an excellent unit. Do have to, of course, run away, but Company Heroes is very much a game of strategically running away. Much like Monty Python's Holy Grail there, he bravely ran away. Janet's angry, she's going to reposition to the south. Looks over the dead carcass of her brother. This is getting quite morbid now, actually.
Because you know Janet, she rarely repositions, but she's going to be taking up middle slot on the field.
The Greyhound's getting slotted right now. The Panzer IV's in deep pursuit. Hedgerow to the rescue. However, that smoke trail is like a line of blood in the ocean for a shock. We both have 1080s, don't we, Dan? So we get to see all these little things. It's great, isn't it?
It is, actually. I was, I'm still yet to go a stage up in Company of Heroes. Do you remember when we did what was it, games? What was the event we did where we live cast? I think it was Helping Hands playing Lovenest at the Gamer Weekender, PC Gamer Weekender.
Oh yes, I remember that. Oh, you mean the 1440? We'll wait for 4K, I think. I think that's like in the middle. You just want to wait fully for 4K.
4K was incredible in this game, though. Incredible. Anyway, there's a lot of action going on right now.
It is, yeah.
I feel bad talking about it right now.
For the viewers, I always feel bad for our viewers. Here we go, the Foch Grenadiers rushing in with Panzer IV support. Mortar's left vulnerable. Elsewhere, we've got engagements in the south. There's a Panzer IV might be able to take out this 50 cal. So it's all going on down there, and it's all going on in Vonasten's favour.
It is, yeah, and he does remove the MG, but there's a lot to go on at the moment. There's a lot of engagements that Lovenest has to try and deal with. He's been pushed back heavily off the map. The strategic points have been decapped, fuel has been decapped, but look at this, an AT grenade from a hiding rifleman means that the Jackson might get the kill on this Panzer IV. Can the Raketten save it?
Janet's angry. She's going around the side. She gets the killing blow, it seems. Wait, no. Survives with 1% health. Finishes the job through the trees. The Rakettenwerfer repositions, fatefully so, because the Jackson is allowed to escape.
That was really unfortunate. I mean, I honestly thought that Vonasten would make use of the fact that the Jackson had a longer reload time, keep retreating it. You know, the threat of the Raketten meant that the Jackson wouldn't have chased, but no, he decided to keep it there and try and get it. But check this out, Panzer IV up on the counterattack. He's going to go for the ambulance first. Healing is now down for Lovenest. Can he micro that Jackson out of there? Panzer IV has spotted it. Will he dive? He's going to die.
He tried to go south, but then the Panzer IV reposition. He's going to go for one shot. Finishes off Janet. And she is, unfortunately, no longer with us. R.I.P.
Well, this Lovenest is going to go straight in for another Jackson. It's really the best thing that he has to stop the Panzer IV having a huge window of effectiveness on the field now. But this leaves Vonasten. He's going to be able to take his second fuel point for double fuel. He may even be able to utilize this army and go for a triple cap, which may start to bring him in line with the huge VP lead that Lovenest has had this game. And again, like, it looks like Lovenest was really stealing this back slowly. And Vonasten's played out of his skin. I really rate him right now as such a good player, because
this is his emergence. This is his true emergence. I mean, we all know he's had one or two games here and there, an auto match and tournaments where he's made it into the middle stages of things, and he's had a few occasional upsets here and there. But this is a huge upset. Lovenest, after that Nagano victory, was starting to look like the Lovenest of old, and he's played fine in this game. This is Lovenest playing great. He's having a good game. Vonasten's playing better, and that's a fantastic sign for the strength of our community.
It's when you see games, I'm so glad that we've had like 3 very, very good games in a row, because when you see games like this in Company of Heroes, you get that kind of real revitalization of love for the game. You know, there's been a lot of patches and just very, very annoying things that have gone on in Company of Heroes, but to see consistent high-level play, to see new people emerging onto the scene, I'm loving it. Really, really.
I'm shattered. This is like the old ESL kind of cast, damn it. Such great play requires great attention, and here we go, the Panzer IV yet again reigning supreme on the battlefield of Faymanville approach. And Vonasten himself is now taking a big deep breath and sticking out his chest. He's standing with both feet firmly planted in the ground. However, here comes the Jackson trying to make some semblance of vengeance, but the Rakettens are waiting for him. Panzer IV also might die in this escapade, but the Jackson surely can't survive much longer.
I don't know. He's going to try and
dancing.
How is he
dancing? What the hell? He's darting around. Jackson with that time just about gets the corner. Holy crap, that was cool.
Yeah, that was a very difficult one to escape. I think he nearly had it as well. Lovenest is actually bringing another Greyhound onto the field. I think that is the sign of desperation. Things are now in a situation that may be non-recoverable. Lovenest's army is completely on the back foot. Panzer IV easily going to be able to clean up the left side, and I think we have a new king. We haven't had a king stay on for a while. Do you know that?
It's the death of kings, the King Slayer tournament, seemingly. Vonasten, by the way, no, I don't want Vonasten. Lovenest, by the way, with that Jackson, he exhibited something that was so cool. Obviously, with Company of Heroes, there's that slight delay, because everything has to go to an Amazon server, and they're not that many of them for this game. But Lovenest somehow managed to make his tank Judder in time with the Rakettenwerfer. It was masterful. It obviously didn't quite work. Did you see the way the tank just went forward and backward ever so slightly, showing the commands being issued by Lovenest in time to the Rakettenwerfer? That was really high-level stuff.
It is a game of wits when you're in that position, quite frankly. So, yeah, okay, this Greyhound not having lots of success. Lovenest has
there you go!
Dropped. What an upset.
That is a massive victory for Vonasten, and a big upset, and a huge sign of health in our community.
Wow. Awesome. Really awesome. All right, let's go back to the lobby. Did that just happen? Eh? Did that?
Wow.
Did you just
that
witness
was
this?
awesome. That was a true emergence. That was one of those moments where that was like a talisman moment. Do you remember Talisman when he defeated Helping Hands in that semi-final of an ESL Cup? We mention it at least once a week. That was it finally had another talisman moment live on air where a player is now a big name and a great player, and that's really cool to watch.
Yeah, that is nice. I'm feeling a twinge of pride, to be hosting an event where people can actually bother to play and increase their skills in auto match.
Yeah, it's good.
It's nice, and as well, we've got Romeo doing, we've got other people, we've got tournaments coming up again from Strategia and stuff. It's good. It looks like a really good time to be playing Company of Heroes. I'm going to actively encourage people to watch these games. Let's get the replays as well.
You haven't been?
And let people...
Oh, sorry.
You know what I mean? We'll get the replays and analyze the strategies. How long has it been since people have taken a replay and analyzed the strategy behind it and gone hey, that game from King of the Hill? This was the strategy, and let's do some analysis.
Definitely. Do you want me to tell you something that was really cool about the Company of Heroes 1 game replay?